This is the most blinding and disorienting build a hunter could have. I mean, literally. You're gonna blind, disorient, slow, and freeze enemies to then run in and melt them down with crazy DPS weapons like a sword. I didn't even think a dodge could be so powerful, but I guess anything is with these crazy builds, right? On top of this though, you'll have unlimited and infinite stasis abilities, dodges, and heavy ammo 9 times out of 10 with this build, as well as having a huge damage resistance against enemies from multiple sources. And you're gonna just pretty much destroy everything in all types of content from Legend Lost Sectors to Master Nightfalls. The only downside to this build is that you have the disadvantage at a range, but you'll be using blinding grenades to blind enemies at a distance to then run in and do your thing. This build is pretty crazy, so as always guys, if you like this one, why not drop a like and show your support. But now let's start. We are now at around the 26th class build video, which is kind of crazy how far we've come. So I just want to thank everyone for sticking around and watching these videos, as it really means a lot. But if you are new here, you should know that I do these videos every week, so if you like what you're seeing, why not go check out the playlist for more awesome builds, as I cover almost everything here on the channel. And I will also mention that as this season comes to a close, I will be preparing to close this series with a top 3 as usual soon, in preparation to start season 15. Keep an eye out in the comments for any updates on my latest videos. So with this build, you will be hammering adds like a ninja, and I'm not kidding. You will melt everything, and there's nothing those adds can really do to stop you, because they'll be wandering around looking confused as you continuously disorient them using your dodge, which also slows them. Now how you will use this build is first decide who you want to kill, and then blind them or other tough adds that are in your way so that you can make it to your target. Then you'll throw a dust-filled grenade on them to slow them and eventually freeze them, run in and do a dodge to disorient and slow them further, and then get the final kill. Pick up the elemental wells that they drop afterwards, which will give you Charger Light and 2 different damage resistant mods, and then just repeat, except you'll be stronger on the second one. Make sure you do pick up those elemental wells though, because that will help you in tougher activities. So let's go through that build setup now and how you can make this build pretty insane. Starting with the loadout, the number 1 best weapon is a grenade launcher with blinding grenades. This is so that you can blind enemies or tough adds at a distance to then get to your target safely without dying, especially in harder game modes. But pair this with a good energy weapon that has a wellspring perk to generate ability energy, as we are an ability build and want to get those back as quick as possible. Although it's not required, because with this setup you'll get them back quickly regardless. But for your heavy weapon though, you want to use a good sword like this one here, and you can get this from Gunsmith at the tower if it's on rotation, or from his Ingram or the world loot pool. But this would be your main source for boss DPS, as well as being able to use it as a primary weapon for ad clearing when you get swarmed. But if you were to get swarmed by ads, you would just dodge and then they won't be able to do anything. Now if you have the Lament Exotic sword, use this instead, as you can do some serious damage and it will also heal you, as well as being able to take down barrier shields on the unlikely chance that you don't melt them, which then means you really don't need to waste mods in your gauntlets for barrier champions. But your optimized loadout for endgame: an ignition code with blinding grenades, an energy weapon with a wellspring perk, and a good heavy sword for each elemental burn, which you'll then use for match game shields. The Lament is preferred though. Taking a look at the subclass, we are using a Hunter's Stasis, so put on a Gambler's Dodge if you haven't already, so that you could spam melee abilities as well as a dust-filled grenade to throw at champions and bosses, to then freeze and slow them. For our first aspect, we have Grim Harvest to create stasis shards when defeating slowed and frozen combatants, and picking up these will give us melee energy. Our second aspect is Winter Shroud, where dodging slows nearby enemies, and guys, I'm not kidding, this is actually top tier for stasis, especially with this build, because all we're going to be doing is dodging all the time and slow everything. And because we'll have pretty much infinite dodges, we'll be able to permanently slow enemies and create infinite stasis shards for infinite stasis abilities, so yeah, pretty OP. But the fragments make this even crazier, as we have Whisper of Refraction, where defeating slowed targets grant class ability energy, so your dodge is just going to get your dodge straight back. So yeah, like, what? But not only that, but we're also using Whisper of Durance, where slows last longer, and Whisper of Torment to gain grenade energy when we take damage from targets. Now the exotic we're using is the Gemini Jester, where dodging disorients and removes enemy radars. More on this soon. But for the helmet mods, we are using Well of Tenacity, where picking up those void elemental wells reduce the damage you take from enemies for a short time. And I know you may be thinking, why use a void elemental well on a stasis subclass? Because we'll be creating so many of them with unlimited dodges that it really doesn't matter, and it doesn't make a difference. And these void wells are OP as hell for hunters with high mobility. But with this mod though, slot on 2 sword ammo finder mods to make sure you find plenty of ammo to never run out. Now for the gauntlets, you want your champion mods if you need them. Otherwise you can use anything in here, although a solar supercharged mod would be ideal. for extra charger light stacks to hold, but for your chests you'll be using protective light to gain significant damage resistance against combatants when your shields are destroyed, consuming all stacks of charger light, and of course with this, use some sword reserve mods for extra ammo. For the legs, elemental charge is what we'll be using to become charger light by picking up those void elemental wells, which you should be doing often when dodging all the time, and then with this throw on a sword scavenger mod. But for your cloak, you want to use Reaping Wellmaker to generate a void elemental well on weapon kills after using your dodge, and distribution twice to reduce all ability cooldowns when using your dodge near enemies, which you'll do all the time. But for your stats, I maxed out my ability, but I don't think it matters too much as you'll get abilities fast regardless, but the more you can dodge, the better this build will be. So this build will be perfect for all players who want to easily complete things like Legend Lost Sectors, or just have fun completely owning all enemies in the game, and this will save you in so many situations when you dodge near enemies. You could even use the Void subclass for infinite invisibility on top, but I don't feel it's really needed. The only main problem you'll have to worry about with this build are enemies at a distance, or enemies away from the target you're about to damage, as they'll shoot you. But if you can blind them first and run past them, most of the time you'll kill that enemy you're after before those blinded enemies even notice. So I do like this build, and it's pretty effective in all situations, but I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. But that is all for this new Hunter build. Next you want to go check out the playlist I mentioned earlier for more awesome top builds in Destiny 2, but for now let me know what you think of this one, or what your best PvE Hunter Stasis build is. Leave a rating, subscribe and share for more, and I'll see you all soon for the next one.